everyone, this is Kathy. I hope you are having a great day so far. This past weekend I played a lot of volleyball, so my body is definitely feeling it right now, really sore. So I thought I'd do some recovery with a full body stretch routine and bring you all along with me. So for the video, I have a lot of deep stretches, so just make sure that you are breathing into the stretches. I'll have very minimal instructions just to go through the stretch, how to do the stretch, and then also different modifications that you can do for it. If you have a yoga block, you can go ahead and grab it. We'll be using it for some of the poses, not all of them. If you don't have a yoga block, that's okay too, because you can still do the stretches without them. All right, if you're ready to get started, let's begin. Okay, so we're gonna start with child's pose today. So bringing your knees about mat length apart, and then you're just gonna fold forward. Really reaching with your hands. Pressing towards the floor. Slowly come on up. This time we're gonna go to the right, so I'm gonna bring my arms to the right side, and then I'll feel a stretch on the left side, really pressing down with the hands, and then also pressing down with the hips so you can get the most out of your stretch. Slowly come back up. Let's bring our hands to the left side this time. Excuse me, Yogi. Go to the left. Good, slowly coming back up. Let's go in the tabletop position here, so making sure your hands are under your shoulders. We're gonna do thread the needle next. So for this one, you're gonna reach your left arm up, reaching up towards the sky, and then you're gonna bring it down and under, and then rest your shoulder onto the mat. From here, you can bring your arm up and get a nice stretch here, or you can do a bind and reach your arm back to your left thigh. In a bind, you can slowly unwind. Bring that left arm all the way back up towards the ceiling and then back down. Let's do the right side next. Bringing your right arm all the way up, weaving it through, resting your shoulder on the ground. And again, the left one can go up towards the front of the mat, or you can bring it back and bind it with the right side of your thigh. Okay, you can slowly come out of that one, bringing your right arm all the way up towards the ceiling, back down to tabletop position. From here, we're gonna do a few cat camels. So for this one, curving your back, and then arching. Or it could be the other way around, whichever makes sense to you as far as curving and arching. But you want to make sure you're leading with the hips. Wherever you're at, go ahead and do one more, and then we'll meet back at neutral. Good. Okay. From here, we're gonna do downward dog. So you can bring your arms a little bit forward. You're gonna bring your toes to the mat, and you're gonna drive your hips up into an inverted V. It might be a little tight at first since this is the first one we're doing, but that's okay. You want to try to press down with your hands and press your heels towards the ground as much as you can. You can even walk your feet a little bit. You can pedal, bending one knee and then bending the other. Good. Go ahead and put your knees back onto the mat. I'm gonna do some hip openers next. So for the first one, I'm gonna do lizard pose. So we're gonna have our hands at the front of the mat. We'll start with the right leg. So the right one's gonna come onto the outer edge of that right hand there. And then the left one, I'm gonna kind of slide it back a little bit so I really get my hip flexors. And then you can stay up here. I'm really tight, so I'm just gonna stay up here, but if you can always go to your forearms and go down lower, but I can't do that, so we're doing this variation today. So just pick whichever one's the best one for you. And you want to try to make sure your knee is staying close to you and towards your elbows. If you need to, if this is even really tough, you can always use a block to bring yourself up higher, because you'll definitely feel a stretch in the left hip flexors for this one. Go ahead and bring that right leg back. We're gonna do the left one next. So bring that left one to the outer edge of the mat, outside of your left hand. Again, the right one, you can slowly slide back so you feel a nice hip flexor stretch, and pick the variation that works best for you. So whether that's up here high on a block, there's also different variations for the block. So this is the highest one. If you kind of go like this one, you'll get a little bit more height there. And then you'll have this height, which is the second one, and then this one's also the third one. So you can play around with that. You can go without a block, down on your forearms, or even sprawled out if you're super flexible. And again, remember to actively draw that knee in towards the elbow so that it's not coming out. And make sure you're not putting all of your weight on your wrists either. Make sure to have your fingers spread out really wide and that you're putting equal pressure throughout the hands. Out of that one. Next, we'll do pigeon pose. So for this one, kind of the same thing. Hands are going to be up in the front. With the right leg, we're going to try to get it as parallel as we can to the front of the mat. And you want your toes to be flexed. So you want to bend those toes up and then try to get up as parallel as you can. And same thing, this one's a really tricky stretch because it's super tight, or is really tight on a lot of people. So if you need to, you can use a block and put it under your hip for more stability, and it allows you to get deeper into the stretch. And so from here, again, you can stay up here if you feel the stretch here. You can come down on your forearms, or you can come down all the way. Pick the one that works best for you. The stretches shouldn't be painful. They should just feel a little discomfort, and then you just breathe into it. So make sure you're not forcing your body into the stretch. And you should feel this in the back of your hip. Good, so we'll slowly come out of that one. If you used a block, go ahead and remove it. We'll bring that right leg out. You can give it a little shake if you need to. And then we'll do the left side. So the left one, again, trying to get the leg as parallel as you can to the front of the mat. Bending that ankle, so bringing the toes up. And then that right leg, you want to try to creep it in towards the center as much as you can, because then you'll feel the stretch a little bit more. Again, if you're super tight, you might want to use a block under your hip. That's what I'm gonna do. And then pick the variation that works best for you. You can stay up here, again, forearms, or you can come all the way down. Okay, good. We'll slowly come out of this one. If you used a block, go ahead and take it out. And then we'll finish again with a child's pose. So for our last one, bringing the hips kind of wide as the mat, and then bringing your arms forward and coming down. and you can slowly come back up. And that is the end of our stretch. So thank you. If you enjoyed this, like, share, and comment down below if you want to see more of these. And if there's a certain body part that you want me to focus on next time for the stretching, I can also do that. So thank you again for joining in, and I'll see you in the next one.